First, I want to thank Deb Walsh, the amazing woman who put all this together. I love that you've created this, and I'm so grateful you're my new friend. So thank you for having me speak tonight. So my name is Bethany Warburton, and I am a 42-year-old mom and wife, and as the bio in the program says, I'm a freshly minted rebel. So why a rebel? And as you can clearly see, I've done something very few women my age have done. I have ditched the hair dye and have gone gray. And you know, let's be honest, our culture doesn't really embrace gray, never mind young 40 young women that are going gray. And sometimes women who are gray are portrayed as dowdy or cold in the media, maybe in movies or TV. So it's something, you know, process getting there. But I'm not here to be on a soapbox or say that my decision to go gray was right or easy, because it wasn't. But just to kind of share my journey with you. So a little bit of my backstory. I have quite literally been going gray for as long as I can remember. When I was 5, so let's cut to 1975, my mom dug into my hair and pulled out a gray and showed it to me. She said, "Oh my God, you have a gray hair." And I remember just sobbing. I didn't really know what it meant. I just knew that it wasn't a good thing. And basically it set in motion really years of kind of these little grays sprouting up throughout, you know, my early teens. And then in high school, a ritual started where I would do what I call kind of a search and destroy mission, where I get in the mirror and I kind of look and see if I could find anything, and I pull it all out. And sort of such was the life of my hair through my teens and college years and early 20s. In 1996, at the age of 26, I decided, at the recommendation also of my stylist, that it was time to color the grays. I could not keep up with the plucking efforts anymore. So that was really the first time that I ever colored my hair with the intent of covering gray. I kind of had a hard time reconciling it though. I grew up in a very loving home with doting parents, but my mom also happened to be what I say, very Irish Catholic woman. And anyone that knows anyone that was brought up by a very Irish Catholic woman, you know that vanity is a cardinal sin. And we were not to be overly concerned with our appearance. It was shallow, it was vain, and it would not be tolerated. So I grew up learning I had to be grateful to God for just the way He made me. And you know what? It worked. I don't know how, but it worked. My brother and I both grew up with pretty healthy self-esteems, I guess. And I learned to be comfortable in my own skin. So I think more than anything, kind of growing up with that atmosphere, I valued authenticity. And I always kind of had a hard time reconciling the hair coloring. So back when I was 26 and started coloring my hair, as my best friend Lori will attest to, I said, you know, when I'm 40, I'm gonna stop coloring my hair. Because when you're 26, 40 seems really old. And I thought it was an appropriate age. You know, I could kind of let myself go when I was 40. But as anyone who's here that's actually over 40 can attest to, that goes really fast. So after getting married and having 2 kids, before I knew it, my 30s were gone and there was 40 just a couple of years ago. And I really wasn't ready to go gray. And I remember also having this conversation with Lori and saying, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen now. I was afraid, and I really wasn't okay with kind of hiding the gray, but I let fear of change and fear of the unknown and fear of what other people may think make that decision for me. And so I stayed with the status quo. And actually, I think, Dana, something you also talked about too that I really related to, letting that fear make decisions for you. So just about a year ago, I decided that I was going to purge fear from my decision-making process. Not just about my hair, but sort of in general terms. And I wanted to let intention lead the way. And as my wonderful husband Brian can attest to, we've had a wonderful roller coaster since we decided to purge fear from our decision-making processes. So armed with this no fear resolve, I made up my mind sometime this past fall that I would stop coloring my hair. It was going to be my New Year's resolution. And I think more importantly, as I shared with Deb one of the first times I met her, it was to be a physical manifestation of this new ethos, this no fear ethos. So I don't know about all of you guys, but when I really come to a big decision, I have to do two things to ensure that I follow through. The first is that I have to research the hell out of it to validate my decision. So I read, I seek out online articles, I talk to people, and that's just what I did with this. And believe it or not, when you go into Google and you type how to turn your hair gray, you really get mostly ideas on how to cover your gray hair. So I really had to do a lot of digging. It challenged my Googling abilities. I also met with a dear friend of mine, Patricia, who's one of the few people my age who's gray, and she was a great resource. Sort of the second thing I do is I need to tell people, or I won't follow through. So I started telling my near and dear. Certainly my husband Brian was loving and supportive. My 9-year-old daughter, not so much. She said I would look old and it wouldn't look good at all. My 7-year-old son, however, took my husband's lead and said, "You look beautiful, Mommy." So he's a smart boy. And my best friends, some who are here tonight, were very supportive also. And then I started telling my family right around the holidays, and this is where things get a little interesting. So at Christmas Eve at my parents' house, talking to my cousin Becky, and hey Beck, guess what I'm going to do for New Year's? And she said, "Oh, that's so great, I love it." Across the room, her mother, my Auntie Lynn, who's an amazing woman, and also is an acclaimed actress, says, "What? No!" And I swear it echoed off the walls throughout the house. And I stopped and looked, and she's like, "No, you're not, are you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to stop coloring my hair. I'm going to go gray." And she didn't quite know what to say about it. So she just sort of walked away at that point. And what's funny is this was kind of the reaction over and over I ended up getting from women of my mom's generation. My aunts, friends of the family, the baby boomer women, you guys were the first generation of women to grow up with hair color. And it was a differentiating point from your mom's generation. And certainly the hair color companies all love us for that. Nearly 75% of women color their hair, and the estimate is a lot higher for women that color their hair to cover gray. So I pushed ahead in spite of getting some mixed feedback, and I was fairly resolved in my decision. So just after the new year, I went to my hairdresser, and I said, "All right, what do we do?" So it turns out the process is fairly straightforward. You can either grow out your roots, and I naturally have very, very dark brown hair, so I would get what the Silver Sisters community calls a skunk stripe. Or I could cut it all off. And as you can clearly see, I opted for the latter. And I'm happy with it. My husband loves it. My daughter actually now loves it. She says, "Mommy, you look great," and she says my hair apparently is softer than it's ever been. And my son, of course, loves it. My friends have been accepting and have embraced the new me wholeheartedly. But there were also the other reactions. I walked into work the first day after getting all my hair cut off and just having gray, And some people went out of their way to say, Bethany, I love your hair, it looks great. And then other people thought I went completely insane and clearly was having a midlife crisis or something and avoided me altogether. And still do. And I actually have immediate family members whom I've seen a number of times since I've cut off all my hair and just have gray, and they still have not said anything about it. And I'm guessing they're taking the whole, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, which is fine. But really, I guess at the end of the day, what does this all mean about me? How has it changed my self-perception, if at all, or my self-image? I'm gray, so what? I don't have to worry about my roots showing anymore, which is really nice. I don't have to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours every 3 to 4 weeks in my stylist chair, spending more money than I'm willing to admit in front of my husband. I don't have to feel like I'm hiding anything. I don't feel older. I don't feel less vibrant. In fact, I feel more vital and authentic than ever. It's very freeing and liberating. And it's not likely for everyone, and that's okay. I might change my mind and become a redhead next year, and that's okay too. But the point is, I'm making decisions from intent, not from fear of change or fear of doing something different. And I'm living that every day, which is really nice. So being gray hasn't altered my self-perception. The reflection in the mirror is a little bit different, and I still kind of catch myself saying, oh, geez, that's right. I'm gray now. But when I do look in the mirror, I see what I like to say is a proud silver sister, not an aged, worn-out woman. And I think that's really the gift here. The gift is similar to what Miss Dickinson's saying up there. And it's been a really kick-ass gift that I've given to myself. And that's all I have to share. So thank you for your time.